You are live, my friend.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. It is Wednesday, big show. We're going to be heavy on college basketball today. We're also going to talk NHL. We get a big doubleheader tonight. And we got to talk America's game. That's right, Ralph Michaels is going to break down Army versus Navy, Wisconsin, Nebraska in college basketball. Drew Martin is going to join us. We're going to talk Minnesota, Purdue, Liberty, NC State. And we're going to see if he brought the sound effects this week. He did an unbelievable impression of an owl last week, so we took some submissions about college mascots. Let's see if he's got any sound effects for us this week. And finally, Bryan Leonard is going to cap it off with the NHL TNT Doubleheader, Rangers, Blackhawks, Kings, Kraken. We got a big dose of all around the world here with free plays. We got one in NBA, NHL. Then we're going to get you ready for the Darts World Championship. I'll talk more about that. But thank you so much for joining us. Let's bring in Ralph Michaels and get this party started. Ralph, I got to start off. Let's toot our own horns. We kind of nailed that Indiana-Ohio State game. Like, you called it. The under was pretty much no sweat, so that was a really awesome breakdown on a big game. We're going to start in college basketball, though. We're going to go to Wisconsin and Nebraska here. Nebraska, a slight favorite here at -2 with the over-under 158.5. How do you break down Nebraska and Wisconsin?
Andy, I want to ask you first. Who? That's my owl
Who,
impression. How was
who,
that?
Hoosiers? Listen,
No,
I
that was
have.
my owl impression. Come on.
Oh, that was your owl. Oh, I thought you were doing the Hoosiers.
Oh, hell no.
No,
I'm done with them.
no. Drew's impression of the owl was spot on. Like it like took me off guard. I was not ready for it. It was awesome. I don't know. Can you do a Cornhusker impression? Or let's just break down the game, Ralph. That'll be a lot easier.
Yeah, well, you know what? Nebraska, 9-0 this year. They actually have the nation's longest win streak at 13 games. Remember, last season, they didn't make the tournament. They went to play the CBC Crown tournament in Vegas. They ended up beating UCF. So we have one of the most experienced teams in college basketball. In fact, they are number 22 in experience. We have a team that plays a lot of their starters. Bench minutes, they're only number 250, meaning the starters get a lot of time. Both of these teams are 3-point shooting heavy, very heavy. In fact, they're number 9 and number 11 in the percentage of their shots that come from behind the arc. They're both shooting about the same. 125 and number 137 are their ranks. So in the top third. The big difference here is the 3-point defense. Nebraska comes in number 73, only allowing 30% from 3-point. Wisconsin is number 246. Big edge to Nebraska. Nebraska has played an easier schedule. They have not played in a hostile environment. They've played 6 games at home and 3 neutral games in their 9 wins. Wisconsin has played all neutral games and home games, so this is Wisconsin's first true road game, and it will be a raucous crowd for the Cornhuskers in Lincoln tonight. I think that's a huge disadvantage when you have yet to play a true road game against a very good defense. This Nebraska team has a point guard that started 15 games last year, and he's in the 4th season of a program. They have 6'10" Mast. He is an offensive machine. He will be able to score inside for Nebraska. You look at Nebraska, they're 5-4 against the spread, but the ATS losses came against Kent State in a neutral setting and as a 14, 25, and 36-point favorites. So when they're the huge favorite, they call off the squad. They don't cover those games, but they still win them very handily. You look at the Badgers. The Badgers have only played 2 top 75 defenses this year. They lost by 28 points as a 4-point dog. They lost by 11 points as a 6.5-point favorite. They shot only 37.7% and 34.5%. And by the way, the Nebraska D is number 37. Added up, Not only is it a best bet here for the show on Nebraska, I released it as a 2% client play. I do want to say this. I did use the money line. You'll see the line at -2. I did use the money line at -135. Those Big Ten conference games early in the season are very close. So I don't always do that. But in this case, when I ran the numbers, there was a mathematical advantage to use the money line, even though it is a short number. Nebraska for me.
Yeah, you don't see point guards in their fourth year at a program these days. So, are you looking to target some of these teams with some point guards, players that have been there for a while, or do you look at it and say, well, maybe there's a reason they've been there this long, or do you like the continuity?
Well, again, it's different. He didn't start his first few years. So this was the kid that grew up and just became better. But being in a program for 4 years is a huge deal, practicing, running the offense. So to me, it's as important because when those point guards are playing the practice squads early in the season, they learn a lot playing that type against the starting team. So I take it all into stride, just because you start, a point guard that starts for Savannah State and he goes to an SEC school, you can't make any assumptions. You got to wait to see what he does against top-notch level talents. And remember this as well, point guard play becomes so much more important now that we're seeing some of these conference games in December as the Big Ten extended and most conferences extended the number of conference games you play. Not enough time to play them all in January, so you see a few here in December, which always makes it intriguing.
Moving to big game, always one of the most fun games of the year, just full of tradition. It's, of course, Army versus Navy here. And Navy's coming in at now at -6. I hear nothing but Navy love, praise, and money coming in. Over under 39.5. That has certainly been one of the most polarizing bets over the last, decade or so, is the under in this game. Are we looking at an under again, or are you going to be looking at the spread here?
No, my number is 6 for Navy. So, it opened a little bit less. It got bet up to here. So I agree with the line move. And this Navy team has impressed me. Now, you have to remember, power rating numbers don't work when you're playing your rival. It's just, you can't use those numbers because it is such a different type of matchup. But you look at Navy and boy, they've impressed me. Yes, they played a very weak schedule, about number 111 out of the number 136 teams, but they did what they had to do. There are only 2 losses this year. At North Texas, where they only got outgained by 33 yards and they were -3 turnovers, and at Notre Dame, where they lost 49-10. The Army team has 5 losses on the season. Both teams already locked into bowls. I clearly like Navy. I like the situation where Navy is a team that has a poor defense, but their offense is better. Army with a poor defense, but their offense has also struggled, only scoring 335 points per game. Lean Navy, not going to get there. I am going to get to the total. And let me quantify those numbers for you, Andy. Since 2006, these teams are 2-17 over-under. 2 over, 17 unders. Now, you might say, yes, but the 2 overs came in the last 3 seasons. So has the trend changed? And I'm going to tell you no, and this is why. Yes, 2 of the last 3 have gone over the total, but there's a reason for that. Remember last year, Army actually played Tulane in the AAC championship the week prior, so they did not have their traditional 2 weeks off. The entire week before, they had to prep to try to win the AAC and then turn around on a short week and also prep for Navy. Navy had 2 entire weeks to prep for Army last season, and it showed, as the defenses struggled early, that game ended up being 31-13 Navy. Again, the reason why Army had the AAC championship 3 years ago when the game went over, it was 10-10 in regulation, Andy, and they scored 10 points or 13 points in overtime to make it over the total. So those 2 reasons completely explain why there's an over. It doesn't mean this is guaranteed an under. My only point why this may not be a client play for me, I have yet to decide, is this. Navy has been consistent the last couple years. They ran 59 plays, 62 plays, 63 plays per game on average on the season. The Army team, we've seen a significant uptick the last few years. They still only threw the ball 108 times this season, but they have ran faster tempo. 3 years ago, they averaged 61.3 plays per game. Last year, 63.3. This season, they've averaged 69.6 plays. You may not say that's huge, but 8 plays more per game in a 2-year difference is a significant uptick. So I'm going to go under. I don't know if it is a client release or not, but for the play here and what I'm going to release to my clients, Andy, would be first half under. There have been a few overtimes. You know these games are close. You know if it's close down the stretch, you may get some funny plays. You're not going to see trick plays in the first half of an Army-Navy game, and this one shocked me. The total right now, there's some 38s and there's some 38 and a halves. The first half total, 19 or 19 and a half. I don't remember the last time a college football game had a better first half total than a full game. Usually it's about 2 or 3 points less, sometimes even 4 points less. So to have a 19 and a half with a full game total of 38 and a half, even if I wasn't a first half fan, there is legitimate extra value with the first half numbers this week.
That's one of those numbers that you're like, why is that? Why are they giving us 19?
Well, again, 2 out of 3 years over is a lot of reason. It took all the steam out of, because remember, those totals were in the 50s. Then it actually got down to 30, So I just think it's that. It's the public reaction without everyone in the world tweeting out 17 straight unders. You don't all have that extra Joe money, thing. And then you also look, Navy Air Force earlier this year, 34-7, Army Air Force 20-17. So all of those things added in. But let's remember this Air Force team passed the ball a lot this year, really ran the tempo and has a horrible defense. So that Navy game going over against Air Force doesn't bother me either.
Did you say they threw 108 passes this year?
Army, yeah, Army passed 108 times this season. So they ran the ball 628 times. So about a 6-1. Last year is about the same, 764 to 122. So they're always in that 6-1, 7-1 range. Navy, by the way, let's see here. That was last year. Let me take a look. Navy this year, 153 passes, 540. So they're about 3.5 or 4-1, significantly more passes for them. But again, USF, they threw the ball 19 times. Against Air Force, they threw the ball 26 times. So imagine watching Navy Air Force and seeing them throw the ball 26 times.
Wild. Great breakdown, Ralph. Really good stats, really good information, and good context to why some of those games went to the over. So we're looking at first half over there. It's Wednesday, Ralph. I know we got Weekend Warrior coming up. What else do you have up at WagerTalk?
Well, let me tell you, Andy, the Weekend Warrior got bigger and better. You guys, customer service, you guys reached out. We used to have the Weekend Warrior, which included College Football Saturday and NFL Sunday. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're one of those weekend gamblers, you now get all the plays Saturday and all the plays Sunday for $49. 2 complete days of weekend service for $149. By the way, my NFL, #1 the last 5 weeks. I've really cut down the volume. All I've done is go 11-1. And the rest of college football, all the bowls, just $149. Last season at WagerTalk, #1 in the bowls, I went 12-3, 80%. So 12-3 in the bowls last year, 11-1 run in the NFL. Either way you get them, make sure you're on board this weekend.
Ralph Michaels, red hot in NFL. Congratulations on that run. Thank you very much, Ralph. And hopefully we get to break down Ohio State, Indiana in the big one. Hopefully
that'll be so much fun. You know what? It's
awesome.
It's in Miami, so if it's there, I will be going. I'll be down in the Miami area starting next week, and I said the Texas Tech Oregon game will likely be. That's also down in Miami, so I got a shot to go to 2 very good games for the playoffs and the championship.
No, get that tan, Ralph. That'll be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining us. Great breakdowns as always. Ralph Michaels, everyone. You can grab his Weekend Warrior pack or college football all access on the bowl games. All right, we're going to do some free plays here in the NBA and NHL. Not huge slates, but we got some player props. Thank you, everybody that joined me on $5 Tuesday. We swept the board 2-0. I will be honest, I didn't think we had Tyler Hero under his points, rebounds, and assists. He got off to a hot start, fell apart at the end. We were very fortunate to get that one home. And then the hockey play, again, we get there at the end, but goes down as winners, so thank you very much for joining us on that. We do have one NBA best bet that is up right now. That is in the Spurs and the Lakers game. So we got two free plays here. So Chris, let's do the NBA and NHL one. Let's bring up all around the world and give out some free plays here. We're going to go Suns and Thunder. Grayson Allen under 2.5 made threes. Grayson Allen has gone under in 4 straight games, but more importantly, since he's come back from the injury in 2 games, he has been ice cold. Rhythm isn't there, shooting stroke isn't there. 2 for 15 combined in 2 games. So until he gets back in the groove, we can take this under 2.5 made threes, and this thing's at plus money. So good value there on that play. And then Rangers, Blackhawks, Lafreniere over 1.5 shots on goal. I'm almost worried that he's done this 4 games in a row, but I'm going to ride the hot streak, especially because he gets an insanely great matchup tonight. The Blackhawks, 29th in shots on goals allowed. They give up 31 per game. So Lafreniere over 1.5 shots on goal. We're going to get Bryan Leonard to break down this game from a side and totals perspective. And later on, we're going to talk about darts. I'll get you ready for the darts World Championship. I'll give out some futures and some free plays and tell you how you can build your bankroll with the World Championship of Darts. Let's bring in Drew Martin, who's been a fantastic addition to the Wednesday crew. Drew, we're going to talk a couple college basketball games. I sent you 3 sound effects for the mascots: the Gauchos, the Gamecocks, and the Horned Frogs. I do not expect you to be able to do any of these. I don't even know what a Gaucho. I think it's a cowboy. And the Gamecock, I think it's a rooster or something. And the Horned Frogs, I don't know. I've never heard a human properly do a ribbit.
Yeah, for sure, Andy. I mean, it's always great to see the comments. I'll tell you this, the Gaucho, South American cowboy, pretty much, in case you were wondering out there. And I'm with you. I'm having trouble with some of the comments with the animal sounds. I got the owl down, but I'm not an expert at it, guys. So I'll just leave you with the Gaucho, yee-haw. So we're gonna have to leave it at that, Andy. But I'll tell you.
I felt like I was down in South America. That was well done, Drew. That was so authentic. Someone
Thanks,
said
man.
a gopher. Do gophers even make noises? Never heard of a
They
gopher
do, but
making.
you got to have that gargling sound, and the whole frog family is very difficult to make it sound appeasing, particularly if people have like earphones in watching the show. So I don't want to make weird sounds right now. I want to make it a very listenable show. And Andy, I'll tell you this, coming in, you bring up darts. I mean, that is an awesome thing to bet. I've never bet it, but I'm sure you can find ways to win doing that, man. Are there little secrets that you're going after that you think have value?
This is one of the biggest tournaments of the year. Like, this is not biggest tournaments. This is one of the biggest sporting events that me and my team bet on. We went 32-14 in this tournament last year.
There you go.
That's how you add 30 units to your bankroll at the end of the year. It's 3 weeks long. Yeah, and if you've never watched darts, it is exciting. It's crazy fun. It's wild. There's the crowd is lit. They're partying. They're singing. They're dancing. They're chanting constantly. It's a blast. So, I mean, I get a lot of fun and entertainment, and I get to cash a lot of bets. And yeah, the lines are soft. The lines are soft on darts. The books like DraftKings, FanDuel, they're paying attention to college football. They're paying attention to NFL. We will come in and we will be betting on this darts tournament. So
I love it,
it's
man.
great. It's great.
Yeah.
We'll give out some futures here. We will turn Drew Martin into a darts bettor, I'm sure. But
I could find that because you talk about like the niche sport almost, and just real quickly, like Mexican baseball is something I've kind of had success with, and you bring up the soft lines and just finding some of these pitchers that have had success against the opposing lineups is something I love to attack, but a lot of people don't do it. I mean, but with darts, I feel like the soft lines, is there like a certain trend you look to attack that you've had success with, or it's just kind of the soft lines in general?
It's just the soft lines, and there's the difference between the number 1 and 2 player in the world and like the number 25 is night and day. So
Okay.
you get that's the biggest difference is the top guys compared to the bottom guys. It's not even a competition, and the format of this tournament sets up beautiful. It favors the big name guys, so you don't see a whole lot of upsets in this tournament. There's other tournaments where you see upsets all the time. This one, it's really hard to upset one of the big favorites. So, but we'll walk everyone through it, I promise. So, well, let's yeehaw, get to some college basketball here. Let's go. Let's do Minnesota and Purdue here. We got Purdue as a massive favorite here, 20 points, over under 142.5. What are we doing with this game?
Yeah, you bring up massive favorite, and I there's a profile I go after. And they're playing in Mackey Arena, West Lafayette. And as the massive favorite, I actually look for Purdue, the Boilermakers, to run it up. They're off of a loss. They're playing Minnesota, not a great team in the Big Ten. And Minnesota, if you're looking for one thing that they've done, it's they've averaged 74 points their last 2 games. So I think they're actually going to be able to score against Purdue. But I go back to Purdue, massive favorite at home, number 1 offensive efficiency team in the country. I think Matt Painter's team scores a bunch. Sidewise, I think they cover this number. I'm not a huge fan of laying big numbers in college basketball. Instead, it points me towards this total. It was 141.5 last night. We've seen it tick up almost full point here, 142.5. I still think there's room here, Andy. I think Purdue runs it up, and I think we get over the total. So if you're looking to bet this one on Big Ten Network, Minnesota, Purdue, I like it over 142.5.
We'll move on to Liberty and NC State. These are 2 teams I really know truly nothing about. NC State coming in minus 13. Higher total here at 153. What do you think about Liberty and NC State?
I like NC State here. This is the client play for tonight, WagerTalk.com. And it really comes down to strength of schedule. You look at NC State so far, 5 of their last 6 opponents have been top 100 rated teams. In Liberty, this is their first top 100 rated team that they're playing in terms of their opponents. So Liberty's taking a big step up in class. It's pretty much the opposite for NC State, taking a step down in class. Plus the fact, I heard Ralph Michaels talk about first true road game. This is Liberty's first true road game. I love fading that spot. And sure enough, we're heading into the Lenovo Center in Raleigh, North Carolina. Can be a tough place to play. NC State laying a number here. It was 11.5 last night. It's now as high as minus 13. I think the Wolfpack run away with this. It's Will Wade's first year here in Raleigh. So it's like the market's getting attuned to him being here at NC State. And sure enough, the offense has already scored 100-plus points in 3 games this season. I think NC State, this is another one. I think they run it up. I think they win by 20 points possibly. At least I'm looking for them to win by more than 15. I still like this number at minus 13. Lay the wood with NC State over Liberty.
All right, lay the wood. If you got time for a question here real quick, it's okay if you don't have any thoughts on VCU, North Mexico. That comes from Titan CT. He's one of the OGs. Any thoughts on that one?
VCU, New Mexico. No. I was going to try to do something with the Lobos, but in terms of sound, but I'll just keep that one to myself here, Andy. In terms of betting that game, no, it was a pass for me.
All right, and just to let everybody know, you can get 2-1 on NC State to win by 20 or more. So if you agree with the handicap, okay, they could really extend this one out. You can look at that one. When you have a game like this, is there any difference in first half versus full game? Do you want the full game experience with these teams if you want to lay a big number?
I'm more of a full game guy, particularly if they're at home. In front of their home fans. I think there's correlation in college basketball and college football for that matter, but more so in college basketball in terms of, in your home arena, it's getting a little late. You got to lead. Hey, let's score a couple more points, particularly the first game we talked about, Purdue, because they're off of a loss. So, almost kind of take out some frustration. I've seen it in the past. If you're looking to lay a number, I'd look more for that profile. So, yeah, Andy, in terms of full game, the home team, I would go more full game.
All right, it's a beautiful Wednesday here where I live. That's a complete lie. It's disgusting outside. It's gross, but it's a beautiful day for clients. What do you have up for everyone at WagerTalk?
Yeah, I need a beautiful Wednesday. I'll tell you, Andy. It's been a down couple days for me, unfortunately. I heard you say you swept yesterday. Congrats, man. Unfortunately, I was on the other side. 2 tough losses. So it's bounce back Wednesday for me. We went over the client play for tonight, so you got that. But yeah, looking to hit NFL hard and college basketball as well. And we got bowl season, so excited to get back in the win column here shortly, Andy.
Going to be a great bounce back, Drew. I know it is. So we can get Drew's full college bowl pack for $149. Go to Drew Martin's page over at WagerTalk. Drew, great work. Thank you very much. Yeehaw, brother. Let's have a big.
Thanks, Andy. Yeehaw. Cash those tickets.
Drew Martin. Seriously, really appreciate Drew joining us on Wednesday. He's been a really nice addition onto the show. So we're gonna move right along. Let's talk some NHL. Bring in Bryan Leonard, and then I will talk about the Darts World Championship. Bryan, you and I don't get a whole lot of chances to talk, so it's always good to catch up with you. We got a fun doubleheader here tonight. I like the NHL doing this. I think this has been a really nice addition. NBA's kind of done the same thing, and I'm in. It's kind of a little gimmicky, it's a little markety, but it works. So we got 2 games here: Rangers, Blackhawks, Kings, and Kraken. Let's start with this Rangers and Blackhawks. Rangers coming in off of 2 straight OT losses, but the Blackhawks are really struggling, 2-8 in the last 10. So first off, how are you? How have you been, and what are we doing with this game?
Yeah, I've been doing very well. It's nice to get to be on the show with you and 2 of my other favorite guys, and hopefully we can get some winners here for the clients. Yeah, you should take a look at this Rangers game. They not only lead the league in road wins this year with 12, they've been the best road team in the NHL the past few seasons. And what makes them even more dangerous here is that they are off those back-to-back overtime home losses, but they lost to Colorado and Vegas, 2 of the best teams in the NHL, and they could have and probably should have gained victories in at least one of those games, if not both. They had that game against Vegas, and they gave up a late goal there, and I had the Rangers in that game. I went against my home team here, and I had a nice price and just didn't get there, but they lost that game in the last few seconds of overtime. So they're going to be a team that's on pretty upset going into this game. New York has had the past 2 days off, and they've got the next 2 days off after this single game trip here to Chicago. So I expect a full-on effort out of the Rangers in this one. The next 3 games are back in New York. So 7 of the last 8 games for the Rangers, they permitted 2 goals or less in regulation. If you could beat Chicago, you beat them by shutting them down. Chicago sometimes has struggled putting goals on the board. Chicago returns home from a 1-3 West Coast trip, and to their credit, they took on the Golden Knights, the Kings twice, and Anaheim. So they performed pretty well in those 3 games, those 4 games, even though they lost 3 of 4. Those are some hot teams they were going up against. 3 of the best teams in the Pacific, actually. After this lone home game, they traveled to St. Louis before hosting Detroit in the second game of a back-to-back. And in fact, before this month ends, the Blackhawks will have played 14 straight games involving traveling. They got the Olympics coming up. The Olympics are on the way, and the entire league has been forced to really play a lot of games in unusual scheduling situations. So this is not the best scheduling spot for Chicago here. Chicago permitted 13 goals in the last 2 games. So you would think that they would be working on defense and getting back and protecting their goalies. They don't have the greatest goalies in the world. I think against this New York team, we're going to look for this game to go under the total. As I said, the Rangers have played great defenses of late. And I think for Chicago to stick into this game, they got to play good defense themselves. So I'm going to play this game under. You still catch some 6s out there. So under is the way I would look in this one.
The Kings and the Kraken, I don't think this is a phrase a lot of people would have used before the season started, but the Kings and the Kraken are falling behind the Anaheim Ducks and they need to try and keep up. The Kraken are really slumping right now. They've lost 6 straight. So the Kings are about 5 games behind Anaheim. So first off, what do you make of this Anaheim team?
I like this Anaheim team. I said it before the season. I chart a lot of other guys that are in the industry, and I get everybody's power ratings. And that's the one good thing about being on Twitter is you're able to accumulate a lot of different power ratings for guys that you expect and respect. And this Anaheim team came into the season very strong. A lot of guys liked them, and I talked about that on the hockey show. I do the hockey show 2 or 3 days a week, with Carmine and Andrew. And we all seem to like Anaheim coming into the season, and they've been very good. They did have that string where they get a little bit tired and ran into some rough teams, but this is a team. I've seen them play against Vegas a couple times this year. Living in Las Vegas, I had that ability, and they're very good. They're very good skaters. They're very fast, and they've got more depth this year than they've had in the past. So I think whereas maybe Chicago may be a fluke, some other teams may be flukes, I think Anaheim's going to be there all season long. But getting back to today's game, the Kings in Seattle, it's a good thing the Kraken are from Seattle. If they were from Philadelphia, the bell would be cracking right now because they're just not playing well right now. But the Kings have proven themselves over the last few years away from home. They're 10-2-4 on the road this season, and those 10 victories are tied for third in the league behind the Rangers, who we just talked about, and the Stars, who could be the second best team in all of hockey this year. What may be even more impressive is that all 6 road losses for the Kings have come by a single goal. Despite the fact Los Angeles is just 4-6-3 on their home ice, they have 35 points and sit in 6th place in the Western Conference. They've been doing it all on the road. They're a team that's been good on the road the last few years. Last year, I think they had a little bit of a hiccup, but for the most part, I like to play the Kings when they go on the road. This is the first meeting of the season between these two. And it's also, and this is something a lot of people don't talk about because it's hard to find a lot of times, this is the second game of the mom's trip. They have the father's trip just about every year. They have the mom's trip a little bit less often. But I've charted, and Dave Koken, bless his soul, talked about this when he was around. He loves these situations, and they got off to a 4-1 victory in Utah on this mom's trip. I think that's a big handicapping angle that a lot of people don't pay attention to. The players have talked about that. They get out there with their dad or their mom, especially their mom. Moms don't get a chance to go on the road as often and follow them. They've got a family to raise. The fathers a lot of times have been hockey players in the past. They've gone on the road. They know a little bit more about it. But hey, who wants to disappoint your mother when you go on the road? I think that's just something we can look for here for the Kings. But you take a look at the Kraken. They need this game badly. If one of the guys that likes to pick spots, it's probably a good spot for them. They dropped 6 straight as they head to Utah on Friday, so they need to get this victory. Utah's got a pretty good home ice advantage there, so it's been disappointing for the Kraken, especially offensively. You take a look at their 67 goals that they've scored this season. That's by far the worst offensive output in the league. The next worst, the last place Nashville Predators at 78. Nashville has scored 11 more goals this year than the Kraken has. And this is a fair line here. I like the Kings, despite the spot for the Kraken where they need to win. You got to score goals. Unless Los Angeles team is a very good defensive team, give me Los Angeles. This is a fair line in this one.
I had no idea about them. I knew the mom's trips existed, but you don't really see it that often. It's one of those variables that you just don't see it very often. Really interesting take there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harry, it is good to see Bryan here on the show. 5.5 tells you everything you need to know about the total, about this Kraken team and not being able to score. So I find the Kraken, I don't think I've made one bet on player props on a Seattle Kraken player like this entire season. I can't.
Let's hope you bet some unders if you did bet into them, right?
Truth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Bryan, what do you have up for everyone at WagerTalk?
Yeah, I've got one play up in hockey. It's a big 4% play. We're 10-4 our last 14, 4% NHL plays, and it's neither one of the games we talked about. So there's 4 games today, and we've got one of the other 2 as a big play. It's just been a terrific 4 months for all of our clients. We've been winning in every single sport of handicap. We're up over 96 units of net profit the last 4 months. It's just been terrific. Hockey's going great. Everything's been going really well. And we've got these great specials going on right now. We've got specials for hockey. We've got specials, midweek specials for basketball, college and NBA basketball, as well as hockey. Everything's out there right now for you to check out over at the site. I'm going to put up some college basketball today, and that's been very good for me. And I just wanted to let you know, I do plan on watching the rest of the show and find out about your darts betting. It turns out I live here in Las Vegas, and I'm in a fantasy baseball league with a guy who has traveled the world, and he's one of the best guys a long time ago, back in the 80s, in darts. And he was telling me some of the stories back then, and this was before it got nearly as big. But he talked about how big it was. He said he'd be a multimillionaire at this point if he was playing now. Back then, it wasn't so prevalent that everybody loved darts. But to hear his stories, it's fun. I'm looking forward to see what you have to say about that.
I can't imagine being in his position and seeing what the sport is now. I mean, the number one player in the world isn't even 21 years old. The guy, he's a multi-whatever. I mean, the guy's got his life set. The guy's going to play darts for the 40 years at the professional level. So I would love to hear some stories about darts in the 80s and him just being like, never in a million years we've thought it's as big as it is today. So, yeah, we'll go over darts betting. It's a good source to build your bankroll. And apparently betting with you has been a really good source. So congratulations on that run. Keep it up. And that's Bryan Leonard with a 4% best bet up in the NHL. Not a ton of games in sports, but Brian's got a 4%. So let's invest in that in cash. Thank you, Brian. Great job. Great breakdowns.
Appreciate it.
Okay. I'll talk about betting darts, and then we'll do some free plays. These are some futures little sprinkles. So, okay. So when you're betting darts at the World Championship, they play sets. Okay. So they play best of 3, and then you win a game, and then you win another game, and then you win the set. This is why this format sets up better for the big name people. It's just too hard to try and upset these guys. So you can bet on money lines. That's just who wins. We all know that. Spreads. So you can bet on the spreads. And then you can bet on totals. So those are just the same as every other sport. You got money lines, spreads, and totals. On DraftKings and FanDuel and some of these others, they offer alt spreads, which we use a lot of. You get really, really good value in some of these alt spreads and alt totals. The other things that you're going to see from us are props. Like we have 180 props. A 180 is when they hit triple 20 3 times in a row. The crowd goes ballistic. The announcers go ballistic. It's like this really big moment. And there's some guys that specialize in 180s and others that don't. So you're going to see some 180s props coming out from us. You can also see some other highest checkout, just a couple of other props, but these should be available on all the other books. I don't want to overload everybody, but when we put out these plays, it'll be very, very well explained where you can find these plays. But really, we're going to be focusing on these money lines, these totals, and these spreads, along with the 180 props. So the other big one is the player average. It's your average for 3 darts thrown. That has been a really, really big, that's been a winning prop for us going back to the Premier League. So, all right, let's do some free plays here. And again, the special is up on my page. Guys, this tournament's like 3 weeks long. It's only $49. I thought it was $59. It's only $49 to get 3 weeks worth of these plays. Like you said, we brought in like 28 units last year. The winning percentage was insane, 32 and 14. So $49 for 3 weeks worth of these darts props. This is the number 1 bettable tournament of the year. So, all right, Chris, let's do the free plays here, and I'll walk everyone through it. So, some futures. Luke Littler, if you guys don't know, Luke Littler is this phenom, young guy. He became the number 1 player in the world at a record low age. You can take him to win this tournament at minus 110. The reason we take him now is because this number is only going to get worse the farther he advances, and it sets us up for some hedge opportunities a little bit later. So we take Luke Littler to win now. That way, when he faces a tough matchup later on in the tournament, we can get a good hedge. Luke Humphreys to win the 3rd quarter. I don't see a ton of competition for him. Luke Humphreys is one of the guys that can actually compete with Luke Littler every single game. So when you look at this quarter winner, let me pull up who is. He's in the 3rd quarter, and Van Veen is a 23-year-old. He's younger. I don't at this stage maybe a little bit too big for him. They got Nathan Aspinall. Aspinall's a kind of can be a head case. So Humphreys at -120. Again, you get to the third quarter finals, you get a nice hedge opportunity. Okay, day one. Day one, there's only 4 matches, and it's kind of just the ceremonial kickoff of the tournament. They're not very good matches. Friday is when it really starts. But you've got on the first day, you've got Michael Smith facing Lisa Ashton. Lisa Ashton, 55 years old. I actually like over 3.5. In order for the under to cash, Michael Smith or Lisa Ashton would have to skunk the other person. And I just don't see it. These guys like Smith and Littler, they don't want to humiliate the players that are not as good as them. So I want to take Littler and this Labanauskas over 3.5. And Smith and Ashton over 3.5, and I just need one of them to cash. Both of these are at big plus money. On paper, Smith and Littler should absolutely dominate. Luke Littler starts off these tournaments pretty slow, and he's not in the business of humiliating people that he's way better than. In fact, he has fun with it. He sets himself up for difficult checkouts and stuff. So I'm going to take a sprinkle on day one for these over. These are just very, very teeny small plays. The real work starts on Friday when the tournament starts. So those are your sprinkles to get the World Championship of Darts started. I will talk more about this on the show. We'll have some free plays, as many as we can, but $49 gets you all of the World Championships of Darts. So, yes, Littler is a beast. He's absolutely he's just unlike anything. It's really, really wild. So, all right, that is going to do it for us. Thank you so much to the guest. Great show. Thank you to Big Dog for producing today. Wait, real quick. Who do you use for stats and research for darts? We have a subscription to a website that has all of the stats, and it's a very complicated database. That's why we do the work for you. That way you guys don't have to try and go through a million darts stats. So yes, there is a subscription service website that does a lot of the crunching of the numbers. That way we don't have to. So, Manny says, betting on darts is peak degeneracy. Manny, it's actually quite the opposite. Betting on darts is where you can find the best value and the best lines. Betting on sports that are off the beaten path, that's where the books aren't paying attention, and that's where we can get the best lines. Degenerates lose. We don't lose betting darts. Degenerate is firing off a bunch of live bets on Monday Night Football when the books have all of the value. So, complete opposite, Manny. You bet on darts, not degenerates. We don't do that. Me and my team do not do that. We're not going to throw out bets for degenerates. We're not throwing out bets just for fun. Every bet that we put out, we're betting with our money. We're using it to build our bankrolls. That's what we specialize in. So, all right, we'll be talking about darts a lot more. And thank you so much to the chat. You guys crush it again. Thank you very much. We got a big show tomorrow, so make sure to join us. Same time at same place. My NBA best bet is up, coming off a 2-0 sweep last night in props. So join up. WT.buzz/AL and also the darts package. And all of those specials, guys, are on the WagerTalk specials page. We've got hockey specials. We've got college bowl specials. So anything you want to partner up with, we've got you covered on the specials page. So go over there. We also got free picks page as well. Thank you so much. Hit the like button and make sure you're subscribing to the WagerTalk channel. Over 250,000 people have subscribed to the channel. Being a part of the WagerTalk family means a lot to all of us. And thank you, guys. Hope we earn your like and your subscribe. All right, have a great night, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Good luck on your bets tonight. Take care.